This was also a very, very tolerable Aquafina performance for
Oh
me.
yeah.
Um,
I'm screaming. I agree.
I
Hello.
because
Do you want to play a game?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I see dead people.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Here's Johnny.
Power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to Talking Horror with Jamie and Nikisha.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Nikisha, and this is Talking Horror with Jamie,
And Nikisha.
where we share our love for all things scary and talk horror through the lens of human behavior. Welcome everyone.
Just a little scream to get us started.
Absolutely. Very appropriate as always. And lots of screaming, I think, enjoy, because today we're talking about season 7 of Black Mirror.
Don't shoot! I come in peace. I come in peace. Oh my God. Hi. Do you need a hand there? What? No. Hi. It's me. I mean, I'm you.
Ooh, crash! That's the sound of a mirror breaking. Scary.
Ooh, okay. Like, what's the movie with the, I can't even think of words. My brain is so fried.
Oculus.
Thank you.
Or mirrors.
And I knew. I was
You
in your
knew.
brain.
You were. For some reason, opulence was in my brain. I'm like,
Oh.
I know that's not the word. I know that's not the word. But that's the O word that came up first. So,
Wait, but that's like a bit from RuPaul.
and Beyonce's Renaissance tour. Opulence was one of the sections in the
That's so
Renaissance tour.
funny.
Gorgeous. Well, we are talking all things season 7 of Black Mirror. The series was created by Charlie Brooker. And can you believe this series started in 2011? I did not realize
No.
it was that far away.
It really blows my mind that it's been going on for this long. I mean, it's like had different, like it started in the UK and then
Right.
Netflix
Mhm.
took over. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's really wild, like just kind of where we all were in different phases of our lives when we first got a hold of Black Mirror and how it's kind of
Absolutely.
evolved.
Yes, which I love. I love that Netflix picked it up, and that Charlie Brooker is still a part of it. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
had a hand in writing all of these episodes in season 7. I didn't check for all the other seasons, but he might have had a little bit of help, but like for the most part, he wrote every single episode in this.
Yeah, I think
Which is
there's
like,
only one that he didn't write or co-write, and it's
mm,
the I looked it up the other day. It's the
yeah.
entire history of you, which was actually written by uh the
Jesse
Severance.
Armstrong.
Yeah, the
No,
Severance, right?
Oh,
No,
no.
the Succession. There we go. I'm getting all my S shows wrong.
yes.
But I knew it was an S.
Club.
Yeah, I'm getting
Ain't
my
no
S club
party.
wrong.
I have both those albums. I just have to say that out loud. Anyway, love S Club 7. Yeah, no, that's incredible. And the entire history of you, that was season 1, right?
Yeah, it's
I
like the
think
third episode
so.
in season 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked
My
it up
God.
because that's one of my all-time favorite Black Mirror episodes. I think that's my favorite
It's
Black Mirror
great.
episode.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
When let me ask, since we're already kind of talking about it, when did you come into your Black Mirror era per se? Like, do you remember what year you started, what season you started on?
I'm pretty sure I watched it when it was on, when Netflix hadn't bought it yet, but I think they put it on Netflix, I think.
Mhm.
And I think I started watching it live season 3 or 4 maybe. But I remember binging like the first couple of seasons. And I love Twilight Zone, so I loved this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they put it, I think Netflix got it after like the first two series
Yes.
were out. because that next one, I think is their Christmas episode special, and I think that was like 2014. So around that time, I think is when Netflix acquired it or at least started like putting it on their service. And so I think I watched like those, not all of those episodes, but I watched like a
Mhm.
chunk of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember watching it on tour for the first time and back in like 2017, so I was late to the game, but it was exciting because I had a whole bunch of seasons to
Hmm.
binge, which I mean,
Oh
is
yeah,
this show bingeable? Maybe not for the mental health, but
it's hard. Like
It's a
there,
hard binge.
yes.
yeah, it's and you know I. Oh, here's a question for you. What shows for you are really hard to binge? Like this one's hard because like everyone isn't. It's not a shut off your brain and watch type of show.
No.
No.
Like, um, what other shows are really hard to binge for whatever reason? Do you have other seasons of television?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh god, Jamie, go first. Go.
Well, I couldn't finish it because it just became too overwhelmingly much for me. But I think I started Girls and
Mm.
binged it to catch up, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm fucking out. I can't. I hate all of these people because they're all
So
people that I'm
interesting.
familiar with, and I can't be a part of this any longer."
So, Girls is actually my answer as well, but I
Oh
love it.
wow.
I love that show with
Ugh,
all my heart.
no.
I think it is a great, fantastic television show, but I can really only watch 2 episodes at a time, if that.
Yeah, I've never watched it, but I just know Allison Williams is in it, and I've just seen
Sure.
clips that have
Oh,
surfaced on
the like
Instagram.
eating the ass clips. Those.
Actually, no, I don't know
Oh,
that. I don't
That
okay.
is when I stopped. That is when I stopped. Not because the ass was being eaten, but just I was like, because of everything else that was happening. That episode was wild. But there was that one clip that was trending of Allison Williams singing. What was she singing? Like a cappella?
Oh,
Oh my God. It's
please
very
find it.
cringy though.
Yeah, I
It's really
feel
important that I find this.
no. I feel like I might know what you're talking about, but go off and find it. And actually, this is a great discussion. My friend texted me because he's in the middle of watching Black Mirror 2 and was saying
Uh-huh.
like, I don't feel like Black Mirror is supposed to be bingeable. And I think I kind of agree just because of sometimes how heavy the context is. And so I say that to say my answer for your question is Handmaid's Tale, because I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
trying
Sure.
to
That's a good one.
binge that and thinking
Totally.
this is way too much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I didn't even finish the last season, forgot that there was still another season to go. So now that the final season is out, I do kind of want to go back and watch the previous one.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's kind of like I watch one episode, I need to wait 2 to 3 business days, and
Yeah.
then I'll go to the next
like,
one.
yeah, like don't
Yeah,
run
that's-
after eating by a pool
Yeah.
or whatever the rules are.
Yeah.
Mhm. Don't run after eating by pool.
Yeah, that's the rules.
Okay. Oh, I did find what song it is. She sings like an instrument, like a piano slowed down version of "Stronger" by Kanye West, and it's like
No.
it's really
Man,
cringy.
I love the show. If you ever only watch one Girls episode, it has to be Beach House.
Beach House.
Beach House
Okay.
is the best episode of Girls, no question.
So they're all just
I love
so
Girls.
stressful.
I love, which is why I think did you watch this recent season of White Lotus?
I have not watched any White Lotus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
I Girls is unbingeable for me, but damn, do I
Okay.
love that show. Oh, I love it so much.
It's kind of
Oh,
like a
man.
hate watch. Like I feel like these are like hate watch shows. that
Yeah.
you're like to some degree. Not all of them necessarily, but like I do feel like hate watching shows are shows that like are a little bit harder to binge. Like you can't really
Mhm.
ingest that content quickly.
No, absolutely. I mean, and it makes sense that for girls, because I'm assuming when it initially came out, it was like a once a week type thing. It wasn't
Mm.
like we have
Yeah, it was
now
every
where
Sunday
shows.
night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
uh-huh,
yeah.
Oh, what about Glee?
I mean, I don't like Glee.
Same.
But I could probably binge it more so than not because it's not like because it's a slow thinker. It's not a thinker. I just
No.
have a problem with the show in general. The shows
But
that
I think
can't
that's like a
binge-
Ryan Murphy problem.
That's true. I'm not a huge Ryan Murphy TV show fan. However, I don't think it's not as bad. It's just not for me.
No, I just think I think that time is not on his side when it comes to like plot lines and character development.
Sure.
Yeah.
It goes like off the rails after once he gets like
Very
a couple
quickly.
like season episodes and seasons under his belt. It's
Not
just
even
like
seasons, a couple of minutes.
damn.
I think that if it's a deep thinker where after the end of the episode you're like really thinking about the themes and what it means and stuff, like that doesn't, I want to absorb and not just jump right into another one.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take the time to digest mentally what's going on and then move.
Totally.
Great. Well, I'm excited to hear about you all's journey with watching this, since it all came out at once, and how long it took y'all to watch it.
Yep.
Before we get into anything, I mean, there might be too many to name, but Jamie, do you want to list trigger warnings for this?
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah. What do I even say? Okay. Well, like technology as a whole, real bad. Always bad. Never good.
Always bad. Yes.
Like, I mean, just financial stressors and getting ill when there are financial stressors. Like, don't get sick ever.
Ever.
Life
lesson.
Ever. That's a life lesson. If you learned anything here on Talking Horror, just don't get sick ever.
Yeah. Also like infertility, for like this, all of this is for the first episode. I'll go episode by episode. So like infertility, financial burdens, medical issues,
drinking pee.
Yeah, like doing things on like a, not like an OnlyFans, but like a website where people pay for you to do bad things to yourself.
Yes.
Dumb dummies. Don't be a dumb
dummy. Yeah, dumb dummies.
So
yeah, Ryan he just keeps saying that.
Dumb dummies.
Yeah. Oh, also subscription services for apps. Big trigger of mine. That's like the first note that I wrote in all of my notes.
Yes.
Yes. Also, like, I mean, definitely like an allusion to death by suicide, and also murdering your spouse. But like, kind of like consensually, but still upsetting. So that's episode 1. Episode 2, gaslighting. Lots of gaslighting.
Big
I mean, again, technology, boo, bad. There are guns. There is murder. There is forgetting a nut allergy, if that's dramatic. And you're invalidated for your nut allergy. Nut allergy. What is that?
Nut allergy?
Nut allergy? I think that's like most of it's at the end, aside from like the manipulation. There's definitely some misogyny that's happening throughout it, like invalidating of the woman experience. Just like,
sure.
But mostly gaslighting. Third one, again, tech, real bad. Mostly the tech is bad, and like queer romance stories are gonna break your heart into a million pieces.
Yep. For sure.
If you're familiar with San Junipero, this is like the much sadder version.
It's like, I literally put in my notes 2.0. San Junipero 2.0.
Well, when she gets the package at the
end,
her address was Junipero Road or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. But I mean, there's like attempted murders, and there is a dog that dies. But I think that's pretty much it for number 3. Oh, there is a gun. There is like also gun violence and police at the end.
Oh yes, so yes.
Oh yes, so yes.
Let's reach
for the gun.
Okay, that's enough.
Episode 4, like shoplifting, murder,
Yeah.
substance use like LSD, little like little creatures getting murdered. That's really sad. Um, but like in the computer, like in the game. Like it's like if your Sims were being murdered, which is
Screaming.
sad, very sad. Um, and then again, tech is bad, and some weird stuff happens at the end. I mean, I guess you see like a bunch of like bodies that have all seemingly passed out. Unclear if they will wake up because it cuts at the end. Um, Mysterious.
Mhm.
Did I miss anything for that one?
I
Mm-mm.
don't
I
think
said that. I
so.
said murder.
Mhm.
I started with murder. I led with murder. Episode 5. Um, also sad. I mean, like grief, uh, some trauma, um, not remembering things,
Mhm.
yearning,
Loss of
uh,
love. Yes.
a funeral, um,
Infidelity.
Mm. Mhm.
oh, pregnancy.
Yeah.
I think that's 5. And then 6, uh, tech is bad. Illegal DNA cloning is really bad.
Mhm.
Trying to, I mean, like trying to rob a bunch of people, of players.
Yeah.
Also, what was I going to say? There was something really interesting I was going to say, and now it's gone forever, and no one will ever know.
It'll come back. It'll come
Um,
back.
uh,
Getting hit by a
oh, trying to
car.
keep, oh, yes. Trying to like keep people against their will, like
Yes.
kidnapping, um, more murder, um, multiple murders, a lot of illegal activities, firing people unjustly. Did I miss anything?
I don't. I don't think so.
Oh, like references to killing children or a child rather.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
There's a very brief one. But that's
Yeah.
pretty fucked.
Yes.
All right,
But
I think I got it
overall,
all.
technology bad.
Yeah, if you picked up on a theme, tech real bad. With maybe like 5.
Next
The
time,
tech
I
isn't
was
like
gonna say,
bad.
yeah,
yeah.
5
Next
is
time, let's
good.
just say everything.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll do that in the future.
So obviously heavy spoilers. We're going to go into a deep dive of everything Black Mirror season 7. But before we get into things, producer Brian is going to give us some words.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Producer Brian here. And just a reminder, you can follow us on all social media at Talk Horror Pod on TikTok and Instagram. Those are the 2 big ones. You can, of course, find us on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. So find us there. You can watch all the things that we are very bad at podcasting. So you can see all the fun stuff we do because you can't hear it. But check us out there. Okay. And that's been the stuff.
That's been the stuff.
The stuff.
Gorgeous. I mean, it was a lot to watch some of these Black Mirror episodes, but have y'all watched anything else?
No.
Yeah.
This really preoccupied a lot of our time. We did catch up on The Amazing Race.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, that kind of was like necessary after watching some of these, I will say.
Oh, yeah.
I needed to fully like
Yeah, that was
dissociate.
our decompress.
Yeah, I was like
Mhm.
having a hard time.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I finished The Pit, which was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, nice. Okay, gorgeous. Well, producer Brian, do you want to tell us how we're going to run through these episodes?
Yeah, sure. Oh, also, we watched season 2, episode 1 of The Last of Us, and we will be doing The Last of Us season 2 on this podcast when the season is over. So definitely keep us here.
I forgot it was out. Jeez.
Oh yeah, it was good. Okay, so my suggestion. So how we're doing this today. If you have watched this before or listened to Black Mirror episodes or other episodes we rank stuff, we all have made our list, and we're going to start reading off our lists each row by row, basically starting with number 6 episode, number 5 episode. And once an episode is mentioned all 3 times, then we are going to talk about that episode. So that's how we're going to go through all of this.
Yes. Great. Well, let's get started with number 6. Jamie, what was your number 6?
My number 6 was episode 1, Common People.
Nice. Producer Brian, what was your episode 6?
My episode 6 was Playthings.
Nice. And mine was USS Callister.
Wow, all very different.
Interesting.
Okay.
Wow,
we're gonna have a different list.
Yeah, I'm really interested. Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right, number 5, Jamie, what do you have?
My number 5 was episode 2, Bête Noire.
Grand.
Is that how you say that? I can't speak French.
I think so.
Bête Noire. There's
Bête
like a
Noire.
little...
On
It's like
the-
a little like triangle or arrow above the E, the first E in Bête Noire.
Yeah, I'll take that. Producer Brian, what's your number 5?
That was my number 5 as well.
Okay, my number 5 was Play Anything.
The Playthings?
Oh,
Or
Plaything?
Playthings.
With the thronglets.
Yes, with the thronglets.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. This is very interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
Cool.
All right, Jamie, number 4.
Number 4 for me was episode 6, the USS Callister sequel.
Okay, Producer Brian.
My number 4 was Common People.
And
Okay,
mine
wow.
was Hotel Fairy.
Oh my god.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Okay.
This is wild. This has never happened to us before.
Wow.
Right.
We're all very
great.
different people with very different opinions.
Yeah.
Very different opinions. And you never know, like you could just be in a space when you're watching this.
That's true.
And it just changes
especially with
things.
these, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. Number 3, Jamie, what do you got? I'm sure we're going to talk about it.
Yes. My number 3 was episode 4, Plaything with the Thronglets.
Great.
Okay. We talked
Let's
about it now.
discuss. So, Jamie, since it was highest on your list, why did you like it? Tell us about it.
So, okay. People might know this already about me, but like I like to watch things as escapism. And there are things that ranked more low on my I want to say all of that because obviously I said which ones ranked lowly. But this one was less deeply upsetting to me. And it also really felt like a true so we were talking a bit about like the Black Mirror earlier seasons and how we got into it and things like that. This episode really feels more like a throwback to the more original episode, like the OG episodes. And I kind of liked that because, and I was talking to Brian about this as we were like processing the episodes in order that we watched them. But like, I have a hard time when I can deal with things more easily when it feels like people are making certain choices with the technology that they have access to. Like, it's not just that the tech is bad, but I think it's more of like how people use technology in not so good ways.
Yes.
And so I found this one to be really interesting, like more sci-fi future. I think also like it was enjoyable to me because I love The Sims. I love a life simulation game where like you got to keep some creatures alive, you take care of them, you might grow attached to them. I mean, there's people who play The Sims who've been playing forever and they do challenges and they have like family trees and they're like doing all kinds of stuff. And like if they lost those, I think they are shocked when their Sims die. And it's like you grow attached and like I really empathize with that. But I think just all of the like sci-fi vibes from this episode really just felt like we were going back to like the original form of Black Mirror, and I think that was very enjoyable for me.
Yeah. How many Tamagotchis did you have when you were growing up?
I think I only had one, but I definitely had to reset it several times because it definitely died in its own poop, a few times.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. No, yeah. I mean, I agree. I found it interesting in I feel like I really enjoyed the references to Bandersnatch and just kind of like all the callbacks. And it feels like all of these episodes really did a nice callback to other things, just kind of like a little extra something for the true fans of the
Sure,
series, right?
totally.
And it was
Yeah.
that was really fun to just kind of like see the connections and stuff. And Brian mentioned the Junipero Road in the other episodes, but I love the technology in this. I loved the lighting in this because with the LSD and the mix of coloring and the cinematography felt like
Sure.
super cool. And I will say, even though this was like low on my list, the whole season was high for me. So like a lot of these are, 1 or 2 points apart from each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I really did enjoy this. I thought the acting was phenomenal in this. Like the guy who played the younger version of the lead.
He was great.
Yeah.
Man. I'm like, I need to see what else that he's done because it just his mannerisms, his physicality, just everything about it was excellent and played into the story. And you'd start to feel for him in all these little things when his stupid ass friend, kills all of the little creatures, the throng, and
the minions.
Yes. But I also thought it was cool
They were the throng. Be kind.
But I also thought it was cool how he was kind of trying to use the technology for better, because there's that whole speech about like violence and human nature and how the throngs wanted to study just to make themselves better, but also humanity better. And I love how you don't know what the ending result is, right?
Sure.
And it just ends. We don't know what's going to happen. It's up to our imagination. And I think leaving us with that to kind of like think on was so great. So, I mean, it is a fantastic episode. I really don't have any like gripes about it. I feel like people are peopling, I could follow everything that was going on. It was simpler than some of the other episodes as far as just like the content and the subject matter. And to Jamie's point, it didn't pull at my heartstrings. I wasn't crying at the end of it.
Sure.
So yeah, it was good. What about you, Brian?
I just found this one to be very forgettable because it felt like a million other different ones. I think it started off really, really strong. I thought it was really, really like the flashbacks and everything and the mystery and then the video game stuff. However, I just thought it needed to be longer. I think that whatever this was, 45 minutes was not enough. It ended very abruptly. It was kind of predictable. And I just needed a little bit more of it built out for me to fully immerse myself in it. Otherwise, it just felt like a forgettable plot. I don't think Peter Capaldi was used nearly enough. I think we needed to see more of what was happening to him. The only really flashbacks we got were of the kid version of him, not him, like in the movies. I just needed a little bit more to fill that story out for me, because it started strong and then it ended abruptly, and I was like, okay, next one.
Jamie, how'd you feel about that therapist that was talking to him?
I thought that like it was interesting, just like the line of questioning to get him to talk more. Obviously different from like tell me his name, and like that felt kind of predictable, but like it just allowed for more like open-ended conversation, which like I think was a good strategy.
Yes, so we stamp her a good therapist.
I don't think she did anything bad.
I agree. Yeah, fantastical. All right, so Brian, what's your number 3?
My number 3 was USS Callister sequel.
Great.
So yeah,
let's discuss. Why is it so high on your list?
I thought it was a really good sequel. I thought it was an hour and a half that I was fully engaged in. I thought the acting was really good. I thought that it was super fun. The special effects were pretty good. I thought it built upon what they did in the first one in an interesting way without retreading any of the same like themes. I think them bringing back the real versions of themselves versus the clones in the video game. I thought how they, the aftermath of them going through the wormhole into the actual game, and how like they don't have tags and they need to basically steal money from. I just all thought that was very interesting. I thought that even the evil characters, if you will, like the CEO, was like the perfect balance of like dumb, funny, and like nefarious.
Yes.
I thought I was very happy to see Jesse Plemons back in that role. It had some like Marvel vibes to it, where like you have to go to the center of this thing, and the center of the thing is a secret, like that type of thing.
Right.
But overall, I just had in a season of stuff that really like put me in a bad mood or made me think or whatever. Like this was just like pure sci-fi fun that still felt like Black Mirror in a way. I think that these two episodes, like the original USS Callister and excuse me, and this USS Callister, I thought that they Into Infinity. I couldn't think of the subtitle, but Into Infinity. Yes. I just think that it it was fun. It got the job done. And they do feel a little bit. I said they feel like Black Mirror, but like in some ways they kind of feel like their own thing. I hope they make a third one, so there's kind of like a mini sequel, like trilogy in this. I just thought it was really well executed, and it felt so different than the other 5 that was a welcome surprise. Not surprise, because I wasn't surprised. It matches the tone of the first one, but it was just a welcome shift.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a great sequel as well. I think just the mindset.
What?
A sequel?
No, a great squeakquel.
Ah, got it. Jamie put her head down immediately, like, I know where this is going, please. The squeakquel. I thought it was. I think when I saw that it was an hour and 30 minutes, though, my brain just shifted into, I have to get this done. So it took me a second to get through it.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie. You just watch like a movie on top of a whole season.
Exactly. That we're close to an hour long each.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So at that point, I was just thinking, I have to get through this. But not to say that it wasn't engaging. It was, it felt like a natural continuation in the story. And I love the sci-fi of it. I loved the showing more of how the game works. And to Brian's point, I love that the boss never even played the game. He only just did it once at the very beginning, so and then was like, "Here's my money. Here's my trust fund money. Let's make more money." So I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But I loved the technology of when they die and they all kind of just like disintegrate into little like blocks and go away.
Oh
like
yeah, that tech was cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. And I thought that the costumes were super fun too, you know, of everyone that came and played in the world. And the ending, a little bit predictable, but it was still fun and engaging. And if they do make a third one, I would be very curious of where they're going to take it from there, or how they're going to get out of her body. And I loved how they kept what's his name, Robert, as kind of a creep all along, with him like seeming to be nice when she goes into Infinity and meets with him, and then him wanting to keep her, Jamie's trigger warning of like kidnapping. But I thought that it was a good way to kind of bring that back around, as opposed to like, oh no, he's not who he was before. This is before all the stuff. So he's going to be nice and helpful, and, you know, but it's like, nope, he's a creep all along. And I just thought that was a nice thing that they included in that. Because you can't make it easy in Black Mirror. You know, she can't just go there and get what she wants. So,
well, also they said he was there for like 500 years. Like,
right.
You know, someone's not going to like evolve as a person over that period of time. Like,
especially alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oof. So, I loved all of that. So like I said, all these episodes are very, very close. So it was hard to kind of pick one, because I thoroughly enjoyed the whole season. So it's, even though it was the last on my list, it was still engaging. Like, I really don't have any gripes about it. It's just literally a matter of like, if I had to choose which one to watch again right now, it's like, that's how I picked my list.
That's totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Jamie, what about you? What'd you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I was a little bit like, oh, okay, like I need to mentally gear myself up for this like very long movie.
Yes.
Not it's a it is a short movie. It is a long episode of television.
Absolutely. Agreed.
So but I was excited to like kind of revisit this particular world. And I also was happy that um like because it centers I feel like it's not as centered on, Robert being a piece of shit as the first one does. And like that one made me feel really bad watching it, the first one, with like a it feels kind of worth it at the ending.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that like it centers more around uh Nan like kind of coming into her own and like kind of meeting her outie version
Yeah.
and like realizing like wow, I've really like actually become a leader. And just like yeah, I thought some of that stuff was interesting, but I kind of feel similarly where my top four are all kind of close together. So I didn't really dislike this episode. I just think I liked some of the other ones more.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. And when she
Yeah.
got hit by that car,
Oh my God. I think I
Oh
like
man.
yelled out loud or just like gasped.
yes,
Ooh.
absolutely. So unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
But great piece of television. All right. So we're at my number 3,
Mm-hmm.
which is Eulogy.
Okay.
Interesting.
So are we now at number 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Jamie, go forth.
My number 2 is episode 5, Eulogy.
Great. Brian, did you already mention that one or no?
No.
Okay. What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Hotel Reverie.
Great. And you have not mentioned that yet, Jamie.
No.
Okay. My number 2 is Bête Noire.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's all three of us now.
I think so.
Okay. Why did you
Great.
like that?
I like the way you asked that. Why do you like that?
Why did you like that?
What the fuck?
I liked it because it felt so over the top and dramatic with the music, the cut cards of the days of the week. You know, we all kind of love what's the day, give me what's going on each time. And I am not obsessed, but I am intrigued by the Mandela effect. So this content was just up, or this theme was just up my alley of what's going on, when is she gonna find out, what is the thing that's changing. I thought that the necklace idea was super cool. I didn't need too detailed of an explanation of how everything worked. I was just in the world and engaged. And it was fun too in the moments where she would change something to kind of go back and see, oh, was that like that before? Like the Bernie's hat or Barney's. And there was a shot of it at the beginning. And so just going back and seeing the A at the beginning then
did you rewind it and go back?
Okay.
Say it again.
So
did you rewind it and go back?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, we did too.
Yeah.
So Nikisha, question for you.
Uh-huh. Oh God.
I read.
No.
Oh, I saw this today.
Did you saw what I'm about to say?
Yeah.
So apparently, to gaslight audiences even further, there are two versions of this episode. One where Barney's is the first thing, and one where Bernie's is the first thing, and then they argue about the other one second. Jamie and I's episode had Bernie's first, and that it changed to Barney's. But it sounds like yours was Barney's and changed to Bernie's.
It did.
Yeah, so we got both episodes.
That's
so Netflix really
insane.
Gaslighting times 2.0.
And that's what makes me love it even more. Like it's so clever. It's so clever. It's so fun. I definitely went back, but it was absolutely because I mean, burned in my brain. They were talking about it's an E, and I went back and it's like, no, it's A. Barney's is so good. Yeah, it was just so dramatic. The ending was wild. Her being the fucking empress of the world, but it's like, she could change her life and just make it to where she never met, what's her name? But she was like, no, I'm just going, balls to the wall. Let me just go and be empress. But I also was trying to see if like Verity Green was some kind of phrase. What am I trying to say? Anagram, I think maybe word for like something in regards to the Mandela effect, but didn't see anything of it because I was like, Verity Green is a very interesting name, but I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it really was a interesting name. Like, I feel like it has to be a reference to something.
Something, yeah.
In French, vert or V-E-R-T, it means green.
So green.
Yeah, so I don't like green with envy.
Green.
I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, I thought the performances were great. I was engaged the whole time, even though I hate women being gaslit and not believed. Like, that is a huge pet peeve trope of mine. That is just so annoying. It was just very, Jamie's like, yep, that's why. That's low on the list. But I think that's why it was so cathartic when she shot Verity and just kind of like, got the thing and got what she wanted. It was just like a fuck you to all the shit that was happening around her. And yeah, I was engaged, and I was talking to one of my friends because he texted me and commented on the score and that it sounded like Sweeney Todd organ.
Oh yeah,
throughout.
definitely.
Oh, I did like the organs to notate the day of the week. That was fun.
Absolutely. And I'm like, oh, that's maybe a hidden reason also why I liked this, because I love Sweeney Todd. But yeah, it was great. It was engaging, and that to me felt like Black Mirror that I enjoy, or the episodes that I enjoy about it. It's just over the top. It's crazy technology, and but still with themes that you relate to, right? So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Brian, what about you?
I thought the ending was too silly to justify how anxiety-inducing the gaslighting was. The gaslighting was so intense, and the episode was so crazy, like heavy, that the end was just so silly that like it was kind of like when you watch an innocent person get killed in an awful way in a movie. Like, they didn't deserve that. You know what I mean? Like her, not what's her name? Not Vert Green.
Yeah.
But,
Green.
Main character. So that was one thing, Maria.
Yeah.
That was one thing. The other thing was, outside of the fact that she makes a comment at the end saying that like she was able to drive her crazy faster than her friend. There really wasn't a purpose for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It was just a stylistic choice. It didn't really count anything down because like they didn't set anything up to count down.
Sure.
Right.
But it added a lot of tone and whatnot to it. So that was fun. It was it was very menu in that, like, you have those moments where it's like,
it's escalating
to this. Yeah. So, I thought it was fine. It's definitely memorable for sure. But I don't know. The end, I kind of liked the end, and I liked the beginning. For me, they didn't mesh together as well as I might have liked.
Fair. What about you, Jamie?
I didn't like this because I didn't like it for the reason that you liked it. I don't like watching people get gaslit, and I find it very frustrating. And I agree with Brian that I don't think that the ending is satisfying enough to like undo all of the stress that I felt watching that episode. And like after watching episode 1 and 2, I was like, don't talk to me for like 30 minutes. I need to scroll on my phone. Like, I was just like done, mentally shut down. So yeah, it just was so infuriating to watch. And like, that's why I think that moment of rewinding was interesting, because like I think everyone probably did that. Like I asked someone else told me they did this, or no, actually someone else was like, no, I just let myself be gaslit and pissed about it. But like it just was it was too frustrating for me. And like, while I think you are right in that it does kind of feel like one of those earlier Black Mirror episodes. I did not watch all of the earlier Black Mirror episodes because I knew that they would be fucking frustrating.
Yep.
And I watch things for escapism and not to get pissed off. And this pissed me off.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
Totally fair. Absolutely valid.
I'm
It's
mad.
like it's real life is crazy enough. It's
Yeah.
why do you want to watch it enhanced times 10 on here?
And like, you know, what's also interesting is I feel like sometimes bullying storylines like do a better job at like I didn't empathize with Verity, and I just found myself more frustrated at like Maria's predicament. So that also I think made it harder to enjoy. I wasn't like, yeah, Verity, like fucking get Maria back, and like, you know, because I also found Verity, I didn't find her like odd. I just found her also annoying.
Oh yeah.
And I think one of the lines that really got me was when she said, "I've done everything," and then I think I screamed at the TV, except obviously therapy. Like that's what you needed to do, girl. Like not all of this, not become Empress of the Universe. Please talk to somebody. Because it is clear that like this was traumatic, and like this is the outcome of it. But like I don't know, I feel like in other storylines they want you to like empathize with somebody who's been victimized by a bullying situation, and I don't think that they did a good job with that. And so then it kind of like throws it on its head of like, oh, so now we're supposed to empathize with the character that actually was like a piece of shit when they were younger. And I don't like that. I don't like how like when media manipulates me to like somebody who's actually detestable, and then also like things work out for them in the end anyway. Like that also didn't really. So it's kind of like I feel like the ending kind of all came together too quickly to, I don't know, just to kind of like tie it neatly with a bow, but like everything that they kind of built up to that moment can't really be easily resolved.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally get it. Which I think, right, just hashtag pissed. Which I guess it's safe to say that at least this season gave something different for everyone to enjoy, and not just like infuriating things, to your point, Jamie, about the earlier seasons being kind of nothing but just infuriating things, and you're rooting for people and no good comes out of it, any of it.
Yeah.
But this one seems like at least there were other things to latch onto that were, you know, better than just frustrating or the demise or whatever the case may be, you know. Yeah. Great. Let's go into number one. Brian, what's your number one?
No, I didn't do my number two.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad. Sorry.
My number two is Hotel Reverie. Oh, maybe I did say that.
No, because we haven't talked. Jamie still hasn't mentioned
it. Right. Okay, so
you said your number two.
Yeah.
I think. And Nikisha, what was your number two? Now I forget.
Petite Noir, which is why we.
Okay, that's why we talked about it. Great. So we are at number one. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jamie, you go first with your number one.
Okay, so my number one is episode 3, Hotel Reverie.
Okay. Grand. So, and what is your number one, Brian? Hotel.
Eulogy.
Oh, Eulogy.
You googly.
You googly. Okay. Well, I have already mentioned both of those. Which one did we talk about?
Wait, what was your number one?
Well, what you didn't say yours, because then we will have all.
Oh, then we'll all. Okay, great. Common People.
Okay. Let's talk about Common People first, because that was Jamie's last one. So I think that's interesting.
I feel like it's gonna be the same kind of the same conversation.
Yeah, I'll
but go for it.
Though. Me or you?
No, you. I want to hear first.
Okay, I fucking hated this because it's just reality, and like that just was so deeply upsetting to me. I was so fucking upset at the end of this, and then I was like, fuck, we have to watch like another one. Like we have to watch 2 tonight to like be on a good track. So after watching Bête Noire after Common People, I was just like fucking out. I was like, Brian, I don't know if I can do 4 more of this. If it's just this, I'm gonna have a breakdown. Like I can't do this.
Understandable.
Oh my God, it's just deeply sad. It makes me really, really mad because I hate insurance companies. The first thing I wrote is I hate subscription models. Like, fuck all subscription models. I was like, of course. And like, and then it is sprinkling in some of the humor of like, well, now it's the plus and like you're on the common and like blah 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 blah. Like they keep making shit up.
We're all dumb
And
dummies.
We are all dumb dummies, okay? Yes.
And then yeah, like that made me sad because like yeah, people are doing things like, you know, side hustles in order to make enough money just to like fucking live. And this again goes back to my thing of like I don't feel like there was a choice. Like I don't feel like there was any autonomy from like definitely not from Amanda because she does not make the decision. But I don't feel like it's a fair, just choice for Mike. Like this is really what my problem was, where I was like, I feel like people are making a decision and then the technology causes harm. But like he had no options. He was either let her die or, you know, become broke and then also they both die. So like it's like shit option versus shittier option and it just really really upset me. And like selling the crib pissed me off. I knew that as soon as at the end when he got her the 30 minutes and gave her the serenity, I was like, oh, she's going to say that she wants to die by suicide, or like assisted death via him. And yeah, and it was just like really fucking awful. And like that also really upset me because like to kind of get a little like serious and talking about like suicidal ideation. And this is slightly separate from like, I think somebody who is looking into like assisted death because of health issues and things like that. But that like serene, like I'm ready is like very real when somebody has made that decision to die by suicide. So like that, I don't know, it just felt so much, I can't think of a better word, and I know Brian doesn't like this word, but like it just felt so much ickier to me in that moment that like that was the thing that they used for her to kind of like decide that she was ready for that. It all just felt really really gross. And I also was really pissed off that he lost his job and he was like, no, I'm not talking about it, and she just like didn't, she just kind of let it go. I was like, no, this is a conversation that has to happen.
Absolutely.
I don't hate the word icky.
Oh, you're okay with icky?
Yeah.
Okay. You just don't like tummy and yummy.
Yummy, yeah.
Okay.
Noted.
Unless you're a baby and you're talking to a baby. Like if you're an adult and you say my tummy hurts, or like unless you're wearing like ironic shirt where it's like, you know, I survived a tummy ache or whatever it is, like that's funny. But like don't seriously be like, oh, I can't go to work today, I have a tummy ache. It's like, no, you're an adult.
Right.
And I don't like people's like, oh wow, that was yummy. I'm just like, no. It was tasty. It was delicious. Like, what are you trying a hot dog for the first time and you're 6 years old? Like, no, that's not how language works.
So no yummy in the tummy?
Unless it's on actually, our son wore a shirt today that said yummy in the tummy. And I was like, oh, great, a shirt that I hate to both words. But for a little kid, it's fine. But like, don't be a full-grown adult and be like, oh, I have such a tummy ache. And I'm just like, unless you're British and it's adorable. Like, no. You know, my tum-tum hurts. You know, I've got a tummy ache. You know, like, that's funny to me.
Is tum-tum okay? Are Tums okay? Can I still have those when I have indigestion?
I don't know. That's just a thing. I hate it. I also don't like when people call me buddy because I'm not like a dog.
Oh,
it just sounds facetious or condescending in some way. Like, hey, buddy. It's just like, no.
No.
No, I don't know. Like, it rubbed me the wrong way for whatever. Anyway, that's here or there.
That's yummy parlor talk.
Yummy parlor talk.
Come sit, have a drink. It's parlor talk.
The other thing that annoyed me was this is nitpicky, but I feel like they misconstrued what pleasure feels like, because her reaction when she was like, you know, on the pleasure thing, It just,
On the pleasure train.
well, I was gonna say she was like doped up by pleasure, but I was like, this just feels like drugs and not just like pleasure. I don't
Sure.
know.
Yeah, for
It just
sure.
it felt very it that was like a mismatched like feeling for me. So I just didn't like that. I just was like, everything about this is wrong and dumb and I hate it and I hate the world. That was where I was when I was watching this. So
Ah,
that's
obsessed.
why.
And
Okay.
to jump on that for a second, the thing that stood out with what Jamie said to me is that this show, Black Mirror, doesn't work for me as well when, as Jamie said, when the characters, when everything's happening to the characters. So when characters like these have no agency in the decisions being made, yes, he made the first big decision, but then they just kind of get screwed at every twist and turn, and it's not based on decisions they're making. Sure, he makes the first decision. Sure, he makes the decision to go on Dumb Dummies, like all of that, but like Black Mirror is not as fun when the technology is doing evil stuff to them versus when they are, like Jamie said, like when they are making decisions or in and around the technology. The entire history of you,
Mm.
he's making the decisions with that technology, like stuff
Hmm.
like that. And I also felt that way about Bet Noir. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Where like it was all happening. That's less interesting to me. When technology is attacking you, it's less interesting to me than when like you are still making human decisions with the power of this technology.
Hmm.
That's when Black Mirror episodes fire on all cylinders for me. Like what's the other one with Haley Atwell, like See You Soon, or the one where um her husband comes back.
Oh,
um
yes. Or
Oh,
like it's
Be
a
Right
clone,
Back.
a
It's
robot.
Be
be right
Right
Yeah.
Back.
back.
Yeah, yeah.
But the
Uh-huh.
reason I like that one is because the technology is there, but she makes the decision to text still, and she makes the
Mm-hmm.
decision to this and using. So that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy more than this
Hmm.
this this type of thing. And I think at the end of the day, that's the thing that made me, rank this like middle of the road, because the performances were good, the concept was great, the use
Mm-hmm.
of a subscription model was excellent, but at the
Hmm.
end of the day, like this is not fun watching people go through that suffering when it's not their choice, or when they're not
Yeah.
making choices that lead to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. But I think all of that is why I weirdly enjoyed it.
Yeah, sure,
um
sure.
Also because I feel like the Black Mirror model is on the side of suffering in some way, whether it's the decisions that people make with the technology, to y'all's point, or the technology is just there's no agency, as you said, and it's just attacking them. I think because I already
Sure.
had that set up of there's going to be suffering in some kind of way and things are going to go left and we don't know how it's going to end, I didn't really take it as, oh my gosh, this is such real life and I don't want to deal with it. Of course, watching this, I'm watching it on Netflix and I have Netflix with
Right.
ads, which was hilarious to me. Because I also, so you know the movie One of Those Days with Kiki Palmer and SZA, it's streaming on
Mm.
Netflix. And I was
Hmm.
so excited to watch it. But then when I went, it said, this movie is not supported with ad subscriptions.
Oh shit.
You
Yes.
can't even fucking watch it?
So I can't watch that movie because I have Netflix with ads.
That's
Oh,
fucked.
interesting.
That
I
is
didn't know
so
that.
fucked. That
So
is
have
fucked.
We
it's
have we
fucked.
have
Jesus
we have normal
Christ.
people. We have normal people Netflix.
You have
Oh
normal,
my
not
God.
the plus. I'm
Yeah,
common people.
yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
obsolete.
That's oh my God, that makes me so mad. Like, we
Exactly.
should cancel all of our subscriptions, all of them. I think we should
Honestly,
all sail the high seas. I'm so
yeah.
fucking over this.
Yeah, like I want to just live in a cabin alone somewhere and like figure it the fuck out. But after having that experience and then watching this in some weird twisted way, even though I was infuriated because I'm feeling all of the things of the financial burden, especially now,
Yeah,
within our time, and then with all this subscription stuff, it was infuriating, but in some way, maybe it was because we are all kind of experiencing it. It was just a light shining on how much this sucks. And so just having that being in the forefront of, look at how much this sucks for everyone, and everyone can sympathize, empathize, relate to this. I think that's also why I enjoyed it. It was so heartbreaking. I loved the performances from everyone. Always good to see Tracy Ellis Ross in this, and I think how she played the character of running the company was fantastic, because she was awful, like absolutely awful.
Yeah, truly.
But it was one of those episodes where I watched this and then started Bête Noire, but only got like 10 minutes in, and I had to like go to bed to wake up early in the morning. But like, I thought about that first episode for the next 24 hours. It just stayed with me. And I think because it stayed with me more than the other episodes, maybe because it was so relatable, is why I put it at number one.
Yeah, I will say I love Suffering. Like
number one.
I love it, and I definitely think about this one, but while I enjoyed kind of like how the story went and unfolded, like I enjoyed the episode, I just like didn't. I don't know. I just enjoyed the other ones more because of how the story was told narratively.
Yeah, absolutely. I just thought it was just a great breakout episode, like first episode of the season. Sometimes some of the first episodes in other seasons of Black Mirror aren't so captivating to me, and you kind of like build up, and maybe like the last two will be just mind-blowing. But this one out the gate, it was relatable. It was heartbreaking. I was so upset for the characters, but it was also just felt like we were all being seen in that moment. Even though it's and just the meta of it all, like we're watching this on the streaming platform that's doing this exact same thing, and like Jamie said, to her point, cancel it.
Watching cancel The Boys on Amazon.
Yes.
Or or watching Severance on Apple.
On Apple.
Like yeah, I get it.
Yeah. But I guess Brian and I also enjoyed the suffering of it all, and my first point was just because it's Black Mirror, you kind of know to expect these kinds of things. It'd be different if I was going into a show not knowing what it was, and it was like this, and then I would feel more like Jamie of, I don't want to watch this. This is too close to home. But because I know that Black Mirror is going to hit on some of those strings, it was just easier to kind of accept, like, yeah, this is the world. This is this is what's happening. So yeah, I still think about that fucking episode. And the way that you just want to throw a rock at the TV the minute the ads start with her, like the minute she started talking about the coffee at the table, it's like, we know where we're going, and it's all downhill. It's all downhill from here,
Yep.
So I don't know. I just thought it was a very clever way to kind of present all of this technology while incorporating all the things that we know and are dealing with right now, and it's captivated from start to finish. Yeah, great. So what should we talk about next? Eulogy or hotel?
We can talk about Eulogy.
Great.
The googly.
Brian, why was that your number one?
Because I love sad shit.
Yeah.
Do you like sad Paul Giamatti?
And if you're gonna have sad shit, you'd better be with Paul Giamatti. And it was just really well acted. It used the technology to tell the human narrative and the human story. And I thought the going in and out of the images was really great. And I really loved that it didn't turn into this masturbatory, like, manic pixie dream girl type thing where he lost the perfect girl. It's like, no, he was a piece of shit. And like, and because of his anger and his selfishness and his lack of self-esteem and confidence and whatever else, like, he didn't see that letter. And like, she was disappointed. Like, I just thought everything about the way that it was presented, the way that it was edited, the twists and turns of the episode, which were semi-predictable in some ways, but never took anything away from it. And then, at the end of the day, you're to assume that, like, my assumption is that, he ended up helping the daughter because even though he didn't have any like real pictures from their time together anymore, like he had that cassette tape of her art. And that is the thing they ended up playing at the funeral at the end. And the daughter may not have gotten that piece of music had, he had not gone through memory lane and him giving her something like that. And then he finally got to, as sad as he was, and as much as it truly ruined his life, because it seemed like he just became like this artistic curmudgeon, he was able to grieve in that moment and say goodbye and get those memories back and potentially move on and move forward. So it was deeply sad. It was like deeply like a what if scenario, but I thought it was just executed brilliantly, and technology was second to the human experience of it all, and that's why it was number one. I don't think it had any real like gaps for me in the narrative. Anything that was a plot hole, I feel like didn't feel like a plot hole. You can easily fill it with your own imagination. And it was really sad. It was really fucking sad.
It was so sad.
And I love sad.
Yeah.
But I love well told sad. I don't like sad for sad reasons. I like it like, man, there's like yeah, I mean, the thing that this reminds me of the most maybe is like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind in some ways.
Oh.
I mean, it has vibes, but like that's one of my favorite movies ever because of how deeply sad it is, but deeply relatable. Like, and I just thought that this, you even though he was the one who was an idiot, like you understand what he went through with that breakup. You can imagine what she went through, especially what she was going through. Like how she felt when the woman picked up, how he would have felt had he read the one night stand letter. And like, and let's be very clear. I think this episode also wants you to make the assumption or infer that if he had read the letter, this kid probably wouldn't exist. Even though in the letter she said that like she thinks she wants to keep the baby, there's no way that at that age and that immaturity that he would have gone in and be like, yeah, let's raise this kid that's not mine together. I just don't believe that he would have been that mature in that moment, and he probably would have said something defective like, if you still want to be together, I want to have our child together. That was a mistake. This is a mistake, but we're not a mistake. I'm not saying that that's what would have happened, but there is, I think as an actor, my guess is that one of the things that Paul Giamatti kind of like worked into his like secrets, like of the character that's not said in the show, is that like one of the things that he has, even though that she ended up, that guy ended up being asshole or whatever, she ended up happy with the daughter, that probably would not have existed if he was back in the life, like if he met her by the stage door. I don't know, but like that's a silver lining that can help you get past it. And maybe he starts to have, I think of the hope in it. Like maybe he starts a relationship with her, I mean, with the daughter, like, like just like, I want to get to know you better. Like, I'm so like, I don't know. There's a whole world where like, I'm just very caught up in their story. And it was deeply sad. And I like that they were artists in like a commune. It also gave me Past Lives vibes. Like the what if kind of scenario, and like
absolutely,
what if one person can move past it and one person can't? What if you both can't, but you're in different situations? Like that's the kind of stuff that I eat up. That like I will forever love, like that, or About Time. Just like the different things, and what was the one I just watched recently? With Andrew Garfield and
and Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh, yeah.
We Live in Time, like
movies about time.
The movies about time, but I mean, it doesn't have to be time travel or anything like that.
I was gonna say Time Traveler's Wife.
Yeah, that's not that great,
right? No.
He's a real asshole in those.
Yeah, he's kind of a piece
Yes.
of shit.
Yep. Anyway,
Yeah.
I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I love sad. I love well told sad, and I love that this was not the manic pixie dream girl. She just left me, and like now I'm sad, because tonight will be like not this emo. But yeah, like we got a real story that was layered, and I appreciated that. And I like that he learned the error of his ways, but he can't do anything about it.
Right. There's no running in the rain with a boombox or whatever outside the house with a
like
boombox
blue French
or
horn or what, yeah,
with
totally.
signs.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Anyway, I know I rambled, but I really enjoyed this episode a lot.
Did I tell you I watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind for the first time like a couple months ago?
No.
Really?
Yes, for the first time.
Oh my god.
Oh my
because
God.
I've been seeing it. Clips of it had been popping up on my Instagram. I don't know what content I was liking in order for that to pop up, but it was. And so I thought, oh, well, I love Jim Carrey and it's like one of his more serious films. And so I'm like, okay, let me find this. I think it was like on Tubi or something. And I watched it and I was like, this is heartbreaking.
It is it is a top 10 movie for me. It's freaking incredible. Like truly. Did it knock you out, Nikisha?
Yeah. I like watched it at probably like 9 or 10 at night, just like in the dark, just weeping. But and that's kind of how I felt about this. Like watching, I literally started this at like 10 eulogy at like 10 at night. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take this hour and watch it before I go to bed. Terrible idea. Just unwell. To your point, Brian, just to piggyback off of what you said, like I really love the use of the technology in this going into the pictures. And I just loved how when her face was scratched out, like when you see kind of the 3D version of it and her face is still kind of, scratched out or poked out, with the pen or cut off or whatever. It was just beautiful. And I thought that the story was simple and focused. It's like we don't need a lot.
Mm-hmm. No
we
fluff.
know where we're going. Yeah, it's no fluff at all.
I also something that you brought up that they made me think. It's like I really liked some of the messaging in this, where it's like if you erase or choose to not remember certain things from your past, you're erasing a part of yourself. And I think that, like, for better or worse, every relationship that didn't work out, there are still good times and there are obviously bad times, but all of those things build you into who you are. And in forgetting those, you don't carry those lessons with you. And it becomes pain more than it does like it becomes pain more than it becomes the joy. And not even the joy, it becomes pain more than it just becomes like it's more pain than it is like a lack of emptiness. It almost, you know what I mean? Like, and I thought that he learned that lesson in this, that like seeing her at the end playing the cello and remembering her
I'm getting goosebumps.
Maybe it was more helpful because she wasn't alive anymore. You know what I mean? But like, him filling that hole in his heart again, even though he knew he wouldn't get it, just allowed him to be a little bit of himself again. And it's deeply sad and wonderful.
Yeah, because it was like we're watching him kind of process his own trauma. And so this is like his closure that he is getting so that he can move on. And also to your point too about learning the lessons from that and moving forward. And even though he can't act on these things anymore, he still is a better person because of it. Like he's different from when he started in the episode because of all this that has happened. And I thought that was just lovely. And yeah.
I also think that Eulogy is one of the cooler technologies that we saw this season.
Yeah. I like the tech. I think it's really interesting. Like I agree with everything that you've said about the episode, Brian. That I like this feels like it's interesting that this is a Black Mirror episode because it feels like the least like damaging tech,
Yes.
if you will. I guess
Sure,
like
yeah.
maybe emotionally charged tech for people, for individuals, but like I don't I don't see this tech being like misused.
Right.
Um so I also, for me, I think that like added to it, of like why I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
I was like, this
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
Like it literally can't go wrong. It's
Hmm.
just him and his emotional trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's wrong, or not wrong, but the thing that he's trying to get through, Yeah. Any other thoughts on this? Jamie, do you want to continue your thoughts on this?
No, I feel like Brian
Okay.
really said like truly everything that I
Okay.
was feeling about this. It was just like such a poignant, like very focused storyline of like
Mhm.
processing, this period from so long ago. And yeah, very, very well cast with Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Now I
So
want to watch
cute.
Eternal Sunshine and get a good cry in. You know what I'm saying?
Do it.
Give me a break from the cries, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I cried a lot this season.
Yes.
Yeah. True. Well, tell us about it. Let's get into it with the last one. Your number one was Hotel Reverie. So tell us why that made your top list and also why it made you
Yeah.
cry.
I cried, and then after, I think I said to Brian, like, why, I think I yelled, or not yelled, but I was like mad again. I was like, why are we doing this? I'm so upset. It was a reenactment of me when I watched this against my will.
Absolutely. Because also the third episode, so like your journey from the first 3 episodes, it was just intensity.
Yeah. But then again, I'm like, okay, I can handle it. We're getting on.
Yeah.
But I first of all, I love Issa Rae just in general. I fucking
Yes.
love her, and I just thought she was so fucking good in this. Because it was also interesting seeing her do a more like dramatic beat.
Yes.
And I man, like her developing this relationship with Clara. Why did I say
Clara.
Clara? I don't know who that is, but with Clara, um, for it to all disappear one-sided, um, without having a moment to like process, fucking devastating. I mean, talk about like sad things.
Yeah.
But I also am like, I'm a hopeless romantic, and I think that like this episode really just barely edged out Eulogy. Like I was like, Eulogy is probably the better one, but I just both my love of Issa Rae and my like heartbreak for this queer romance, like
Yes.
just absolutely devastated me. And then the end, when it's like there's a little bit of hope, really, really sold it. But like I also really like what's her name? Emma Corrin. She's just so good in the period piece. If you've seen if you've gotten to the point in The Crown where Princess Diana's in it, that's who she plays, and she's incredible.
Work.
She just like she just really like embodies this time period so well. And like it was I liked the tech in this, with the exception of like where everything was breaking, but like the tech was really fascinating to me. However, I also can see where it can go horribly, horribly wrong, just in terms of like making like media content and like the future. And I'm like, okay, I don't want this tech to be real, but I'm happy with it in the context of this episode because it's not like harmful.
Yeah.
Until it breaks. But like that part didn't bother me. This was also a very, very tolerable Awkwafina performance for me.
Oh yeah.
I'm screaming. I agree.
Because I think that Awkwafina like has moments, but I think that I think that movies and just media in general went on like an Aquafina binge, and she just became really oversaturated. And then I was like super over her. And there's like
Mm.
several people that I can list that I feel about that. Um, so that's just kind of what happened with her. But like, I think that she's kind of in a nice sweet spot in this where it's also not like an overly comedic performance. And I think her reactions to a lot of things that are happening feel really like genuine and grounded and like again not overly silly. um
Mm-hmm.
I think like there's just a lot of like reacting to situations in this that feels very real and like human emotive and deep and like tugging at my heartstrings. So so yeah, that's I think all why I liked this episode.
Nice. Brian?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I liked the technology just for the
Mm-hmm.
context. Um, I don't know. Just to talk about the technology for a second,
Yeah.
I don't think I would be interested in seeing a movie like this.
No, I don't want this tech to exist in real
Right.
life because I wouldn't be interested in a reboot of a movie like this. And I think it's lazy, and I think it's
Yes.
a loophole to like not have to pay people
Yeah.
for the work that they do
Right.
on
Mm-hmm.
in
However,
movies.
however, I would watch a movie like this, meaning with the meta commentary that I know they only had one shot to film it and something goes wrong and you're trying to like, without watching the people behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
just watching the movie with the meta enjoyment of that movie would probably be more interesting than the actual enjoyment of that movie in general. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I like this episode. I thought it was clever, interesting, engaging. And Emma Corrin definitely does not have iPhone face, as Jamie mentioned.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I needed more. Even though when she pulls the phone out of the box at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and this movie really, this episode really does set up the romance because that delivery worker at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
the delivery worker at the beginning, talking about her like ex-boyfriend and stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think like outwardly saying that she is struggling figuring out who she is and her sexuality, because even at the beginning, maybe she's overcompensating by wanting the strong female lead part. Like I'm sure she wants that because as an actress, she would definitely
Yeah.
want that. But I think there are hints of just feeling uncomfortable in her body, feeling uncomfortable who she is in the industry, whatever. And I thought that was interesting that it was brought out in this. But I think I did need a little bit more time with the two of them during their time together during the shutdown, just to build it up a little bit, because I did feel like the relationship had a little bit of holes in it, from me getting like fully on board, even though the phone at the end did get me. But yeah, that's my only real complaint about that episode.
Yeah. I don't know if this was a thing, but I hope it was a thing. When Issa Rae is talking to Clara and telling her, "You're not real, this is not real," and Clara like runs up the stairs and there's the glitch that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to rewind and say, okay, is this an actual glitch or is this my internet glitching?
Or is this because these are the ads?
Or the ads are coming? God. So I thought that was really cool, just incorporating that. Fucking Netflix, I hate it. And you can't share your plans anymore with people because
Yeah, that's rude.
Very rude. But yeah, it's a beautiful episode. Definitely San Junipero parallels, and we love that they actually implement that in the episode. But it was super sweet. As an actor as well, the technology was annoying because it's like, why in what world would you ever want to make a movie in that way that you're not really, connecting with people? Everything, it feels AI, and it's just kind of feels like where we're headed towards too as well. So it's just a little disappointing.
Sure.
But Always happy to see Issa Rae as well, and
I love her.
love her. The story was super sweet, and yeah, it's the phone technology at the end was the technology that I enjoyed the most because I'm like, how the fuck does this work? But I'm
That was
into
cool.
it. Yeah,
It was
It's like,
cool.
yeah. So it was super sweet, and you know, just thinking about it because it's in the atmosphere, the police shooting of it all, and like them trying to like change that ending of it to where like Issa doesn't get shot and all that stuff. And I thought that was, you know, nice, a nice little change in that. And yeah, it was a great episode.
I like that they waved away racism for a little bit.
Yes, for just
like
Yeah.
those like
bit.
2 lines where we're like, "Are you
Yes.
positive? Like, I'm in 1940, turn of the century, what like."
Right.
You know, and then they're like, no, they will just see you as the what, and I kind of like that. Like, just get that out of the way because it's going to be distracting if they don't mention it, and like that's part of the rules, and I appreciate that.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Brian, I know you mentioned you wanted to do the letterbox for each of these, so we kind of sped through all.
No, it's okay. So each one of these has letterbox because they're all listed separately on letterbox.
Great.
So let's talk through each one of these. Now, let's start with Black Mirror Bête Noire. What do you think this has on Letterboxd?
Oh, we're not going in like the episode order?
We can go in episode order if you want to.
Yeah, let's go in episode order.
Okay, Common People, season 7, episode 1. What do you think this has on Rotten Tomatoes?
Like a 3.2?
I mean, not Rotten Tomatoes, on
but Letterboxd. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, like a 3.2.
I was gonna say 3.8.
It has a 3.6.
Nice.
And the most popular reviews are way too many feet shots, and it's basically just Netflix shitting on themselves and the American healthcare system.
Truly.
This might just take oh no, that's a stupid one. How it feels to not have Letterboxd patron.
Oh my god.
All right, next was what was it?
Bête Noire.
Bête Noire. Okay, now we're back to Bête Noire. What do you think this has on Letterboxd?
3.0.
3.1.
3.3.
Okay.
Top 3 reviews. I can handle the truth. An entire parallel universe is now saying thank you, Beyonce.
I'm dead.
Gaslighting to the extreme. Oh, British Black Mirror, I missed you so.
Yes.
What's next? Playthings?
Yeah.
Plaything. What do you think this has?
3.1.
2.9.
3.2.
Okay.
One of these is in a language I can't read. He would have loved Pikmin and Animal Crossing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the first one is negative, so I'm not going to read that. It's not fun.
No.
Okay. Next
You
was You Googly. I think we skipped.
No, we skipped Hotel Reverie.
Yeah, that was number 3.
Oh, that was 3. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Hotel Reverie. What do you think it has?
3.3.
3.5.
3.5.
Woo!
Nice.
Me and my gay 1930s era situationship.
That got me.
Remaking a classic and changing the race, sexuality, and gender of the character with the use of AI trash. This definitely is the most realistic Black Mirror episode.
Damn.
Next one is just lesbians doing the thing and everybody trying to fuck it up.
Exactly.
Yep.
Though if I did have to pick a movie to do that with, it would probably be Singing in the Rain and be Gene Kelly, but I would want to know how to dance, know how to tap.
Yes.
Because her trying to play that piano, I'm crying.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yes.
That was great.
Yeah.
All right. And now, what do we have? Eulogies
You
next?
googly?
You're Googleizing.
3.7.
3.9.
3.9.
Oh, 2 for 2.
Oh, this one's an emoji one. That's fine. Yeah, I can't reach out here. Lord,
Sorry,
may this
reenact the emojis for me?
Yeah,
Just
Black
kidding,
Mirror is 90% of the time sad face, crying face, I think. I don't know.
Okay, you know
Black
it's fine.
Mirror in this and San Junipero, crying face, happy. No, not gonna work. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, and then this one gives photographic memory a whole new meaning. Okay, that one, and then the USS Callister, 2 into infinity. What do you think this has?
3.4.
3.0.
3.7. And all three of the most here are the popular reviews. Why is everyone in each other's heads in Black Mirror? Not enough lemonade.
What?
I was like, what?
Jesse Plemons plays.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This Guardians of the Galaxy cross with Severance, cross with Real Housewives crossover is kind of crazy.
The fact that we're watching Real House of Atlanta sent me.
That was funny. That was really funny. Yeah. Cool. Okay, and that's all of them.
Well, let's get into our next section. Brains.
Tasty.
Oh, no, robots. Shield yourselves. Okay, so this is in reference to Plaything, and it was when they had that whole speech about just the human flaw and predisposition for violence. So my question is, if it's true that we all have a predisposition for violence, what are the things that draw us away from that mentality? Like, is it community? Is it nurture? Is it security? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's all of those things, but I also like, I don't know if I feel like humans have a predisposition to violence. Like, I kind of disagree with that, but I think that like a sense of community and like connection and stability, like I think all of those things definitely help, because I feel like if you have, I think, empathy, like if you can see things from someone else's perspective, I think that like mitigates the risk of there being conflict between people, because it's like, I get you, I understand you, I see your side, I see your perspective. So I think that definitely helps.
And that's what we always need is empathy.
Can you just have a little more empathy, please?
Please. Like in the Common People, you just like turn up the empathy on everybody.
Yeah. That's what she needed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what we all need. Great. So my next question is in regards to Bête Noire and revenge. And, some people believe that revenge will help them feel better. You do the thing to the person to make them feel like you felt when they hurt you. But why does that not seem to ever play out the way that people want? Like, what is the root of the desire for revenge? And how can a person experience healing without having to seek out revenge, or if they can't even confront the person who hurt them? Like, how can they continue to process that trauma?
Yeah, I mean, my guess is that like it's a desire to not feel the impact of what happened to them. But like I think that that's kind of like an impossible outcome in many ways, and so like using that to then inflict something onto the person that harmed you. But like, it's, you know, it, in thinking about like trauma, like we can't undo the trauma that we have
Right.
experienced. But I do think that like the deepest, deepest, deepest desire is that like just wanting it to like not have happened. But like because that is an impossibility, I think trying to inflict the same, if not more, pain to those that have wronged them or those that have traumatized them, um, to maybe even like maybe that's like a not empathy but like a like now you know what it feels like, now you're in my shoes and like now
Right.
you understand like the pain that you actually caused me. um but again, it doesn't, I think, people might feel differently. Like I do think that some people might genuinely feel like, cool, I did what I needed to do and like now I do feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of it not playing out necessarily is like, again, it doesn't take away from that underlying experience and pain that you had and have. I think the way that we like reference that trauma, or do we let it define us, or do we define ourselves, but like that is still an experience that we have that we carry with us.
Right.
Like I feel like those are different things. So I think that like, again, I think that green needed therapy,
For
for
sure.
sure. But yeah, I don't think that she'll necessarily be fully satisfied. I mean, again, I could be wrong, but like, yeah,
Right.
when she has her speech about like the pain that she felt and doing everything, it's like, I don't really think that this particular step, because you've done all of these other things, this isn't necessarily going to erase that pain that you continue to carry with you.
Exactly. And it's kind of like she already, murdered the other girl that was making fun of her. And it's like, okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
how did that even make you feel? Like, why
Mm-hmm.
are you still going to keep going after other people when
Yeah.
this hasn't, really healed what's going on the inside? But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And then my last question is from Eulogy, and it
Gee.
is Eulogy. Is it common, and I think we've talked about this before, but I forgot what movie we were talking about this with, but is it common to have the memory of a traumatic event be unclear, or you can't really kind of remember everything? And if so, how can you still process whatever that trauma was when you don't have like the full memory of it?
Yeah. So trauma does like rewire the brain. And
Hmm.
so a lot of times, like our ability to recall that experience, um, it's not necessarily in like chronological order. It might come in like flashes and pieces. But that being said, it's not a requirement to like process something in chronological order just to
Mm,
like work through it. Um, and there's a lot of different like therapeutic approaches that work really well with trauma. Like very specifically, like one example is EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, the worthiest of therapeutic approaches.
yes.
Um, but like part of that works under the idea that like trauma has rewired our brain. And so using rapid eye movement or rapid tapping to kind of like rewire it in a different direction in the like more desirable um like thoughts, or rather to not have that trauma like impact us as intensely as like if we were back in the situation.
Mm,
So like
mhm.
with trauma and like PTSD in particular, like the actual diagnosis, one of the criteria is experiencing like flashbacks and nightmares. So like you're re-experiencing the trauma that you experienced. And so with EMDR, the goal is like, again, you're not forgetting that you experienced trauma, but
Exactly.
when you are recalling like memories or experiences from that traumatic situation or situations, that it's not like impacting you in the same way that, it might have in the past, where like you're, shutting down, or like having a panic attack, or like feeling like you're put back in that situation. Like any of the number of traumatic responses that you might have. So it's kind of like turning down the dial, and also changing like how you are perceiving and viewing yourself with regard to having experienced that trauma. Because I think, again, experiencing a trauma that like has a fundamental impact on like how we are, who we are.
Yes.
And so wanting to kind of change that messaging through the eye movement, like the rapid eye movement, or again, like tapping is the other way too. So just one example of like, you don't need to like fully recount the whole thing in order to work through that trauma. And again, that's just like one example. There's like a lot of other examples, a lot of things that are more like somatic and like sensory feeling, as opposed to needing to like regurgitate the traumatic event. So I think that's also interesting, of like not only how the brain is impacted, but also like how trauma is stored in the body, and like other things that you can do to kind of work through that don't require you to like fully be like, okay, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to say this is like an actual thing, but in you just talking about trauma in the body, I know sometimes I'll see people doing exercises to kind of release whatever trauma might be like stored in your hips or stored in other parts of your body. Some of it is probably not like all medical things, but to what you were saying, I can totally understand like things being stored physically, and then with the assistance of a professional helping to kind of release that from your body.
Yeah. And I think that's also why grounding exercises are really helpful, because I think it's like a common, like, I think that there's a lot of different, like, our thoughts are impacted by trauma, our like physical being is impacted by trauma, our emotions are impacted by trauma. And so like having different tools in your tool belt to work through and process these experiences. But like, I think that grounding tools are really helpful, both in like across all of those categories, where it could be like physical like rooting by like planting your feet on the ground and like feeling whatever surface is on your feet, as like a way to remind yourself, like, I'm here, like I am in my office, I can feel like the the wooden floor beneath my toes, I can feel like the cool sensation on my feet. Like that is all of those like physical sensations are reminders that like I'm here, I'm not like in that other experience that I've had. So again, like just one example, but a tool that can be really helpful in like helping you in that moment, even if you can't like fully remember all the things.
Yeah, except when you're in eulogy and you're actually in the picture of the past, and you're like, this is where my feet are right now.
Yeah, but I that's also grief, which is like a whole nother thing that we could get into, but I'll spare you.
No, it's all good. That's what we're here for. Yes. Gorgeous. Thank you. Well, should we rotten tomatin this?
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game.
I guess there's no. Are there tomatoes?
There is for just the season.
Yeah.
As a whole. Okay, so what do you think this has on Rotten Tomatoes?
What do I think this has
for the whole for the season overall?
Yeah, to be high. I'm gonna say 82.
Whoa!
No, the score stands. We're not doing different ones. We both said 82 because that happened at the same time. And that was a beautiful moment.
It was. Cancers aligning.
So this has an 89 critic score and an 80. Excuse my yawn. Has an 80 for the other one.
Okay.
The tomato
I'll take
meter,
it.
which is the user, the fan audience score. Cool.
Great.
And we're not going to do a 4 S's for this one.
Yeah. It's too many different things.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Well, that wraps up our episode of Black Mirror Season 7. You can follow us on the Instagram and the TikToks at Talk Horror Pod. And producer Brian, where can I listen to us?
You can listen to us wherever you get podcasts, on YouTube, hi YouTube, on Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. Rate and review us there. 5 stars, please.
And thank you.
Thank you. Woo.
Ooh. How should we end it?
No,
one got any quotes, right?
go watch Eternal Sunshine.
Yes. Brian, that's how we're ending. Brian is gonna stop this podcast. And watch.
Because of they have future tech too. I think
Yeah.
that's
They
a
do.
great recommendation.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Absolutely.
go bring your tissues and get your heart broken.
Grab your tissues and get your heart broken.
And meet me
Eternal
in
Sunshine.
Montauk, baby.
Meet me in Montauk,
Yes,
baby.
meet me in Montauk. Yes. Obsessed. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.